The following program is intended for a mature listening audience. Graphic and explicit language may be heard at times. The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual hosts and their guests do not necessarily express those of this station or sponsors. Listeners are advised that neither this station nor its owners and agents shall be held liable for the content of this program, rebroadcast, redistributed or reused, without express written permission by host or producer is not allowed.
This is the Debbie Perkins Radio Show. And here's your host, Debbie Perkins.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Hollywood Red Carpet Radio Show. I'm Debbie Perkins. I'm your host, and I have Phil Summers here with me today. Phil is a paranormalist for many, many years. I have run into him in different scenarios throughout time, and I know his value to the field. And he's also an author and producer and many hats, actually. So, welcome to the show, Phil.
Man, that sounded like just a straight up, like, one
I'm
up.
sorry.
I don't know how you can one up better than that, Deb.
But you've been in the field for a very long time, and you're very, very well educated.
Yeah, that tis true. Tis true. I've been in paranormal industry since at least my background started in 2001, and it didn't really kick off until 2008.
Right. I think that a lot of people were, like, I started in 1999 as well, so, you know, way back. But that was when my interest was learning to go towards people that knew about paranormal. Now, who inspired you in the field in the very beginning? And I know that you probably met people along the road that have actually helped and furthered your education and, you know, the people that you look up to. Who are some of those people that you can mention?
Oh, hell yeah.
And what did they actually teach you that has stayed with you?
Yeah, for sure. Like, my people that inspired me was the producers of the show A Haunting. It didn't matter if it was from 2001 to 2011. Those people, they were instrumental into my just going out there and branch into the paranormal aspect of how the world works.
Now, is there anybody in particular that you followed?
Yeah. Actually, there is. Let me go on my records. Sam Truce? Sam from A Haunting? That man was definitely a catalyst to how I got into the more scientific aspect of the paranormal and the evidence-based factual evidence of what you would say would be evidence in paranormal if there was some kind of activity reported in a location.
Okay. Now, where did you grow up and where did you have your first experience in the paranormal?
Oh, man, that's my favorite question of all because I grew up in Charleston, South Carolina. And many people know that Charleston, South Carolina is the Bible Belt.
Yeah. Yeah.
But underneath that Bible Belt status, there's a dark aspect into the paranormal that not many people know when they visit here in Charleston. They expect like European architecture and all that stuff. But whenever they come over here and they actually investigate what needs to be investigated, they don't realize that the paranormal is highly, highly part of what makes Charleston, South Carolina the expose of how we make our money here in South Carolina.
Now, where you live, are there any locations that you find that are maybe either a favorite place to investigate and learn your craft, or is there something that a lot of people know about but don't really go or do really go? You know what I mean? Like, what is some, like, because where you're from, I always wonder, like, the states everybody lives in, what type of paranormal activities do they actually have, like, in locations, and what are more like famous locations or very well known?
Well, the more well-known places are the Old City Jail in Charleston, South Carolina. And that place is absolutely 100% verifiable. You will get paranormal evidence at that location, but the problem is you cannot investigate that location anymore because the new ownership via the Dog and Duck.
Yeah.
The Dog and Duck magazine, and as you know that magazine is definitely on the side of there's no ghosts, nothing's here. We're trying to rebrand all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, I think that, people are going to go there and they're going to have experiences and they're going to be like, well, I heard this place had a history. You know, it's going to be given. Especially if spirit wants to connect with somebody that is either highly functional as an empath or a medium. Go into those places as a medium, and even for a visit, something may happen.
But the problem is there's constituents that have basically bought out the whole Old City Jail property, and they can't really do anything about it, even if they experience paranormal stuff. They can't. They really can't.
Yeah.
That is a bigger issue on the sense that politicians are, it's like a trickle down effect.
Okay.
Like, say the politicians that run that area want you to believe that place is haunted, blah, 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 blah. It's haunted. But the main issue is the bureaucrats in the city and the county and all these jurisdictions. They don't want the Old City Jail to be a hub of paranormal activity. They're hiding it.
I see what you're saying. So they're content with the way it is right now. They don't want to have more things happen.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just the way you just presented it right now.
I guess that kind of makes sense when you're purchasing a property and you don't want to have things happen, but things are going to happen anyway. You know?
Exactly. And
they're still going to have experiences, but whether or not they want people to come in and do the work, figure it out, or they do it themselves. I don't suggest that, but because attachments, you know? Whenever you're dealing with the paranormal and the spiritual realm, you deal with taking on the, if you're not protecting yourself, you can get an attachment that's going to take and go home with you every day and going to cause you havoc and bad luck and negative energy and fighting and, you know, just all those things that you don't want to bring home with you.
And that is the main goal of everywhere in the United States. It doesn't matter where you are, what jurisdiction you fall under. That is the main idea right there.
Yeah.
What you just said.
Because people don't realize that. There's so many new people in the field right now. You and I both know we're from the old school. There's so many new people in the field right now. How does that make you feel? I mean, I want to believe that. I think it's great that the field's growing, okay? But then back when we started out, there was all kinds of people screwing up locations. So either you got an awesome opportunity to go to a great location, and then this group goes in a week before you, messes everything up, brings all kinds of negative energy out, or whatever. You never know, especially in the paranormal. And the company says, nope, I can't have your group come in. You guys have to leave, or whatever, because somebody else did something. So that's been happening for a long, long time. And I always thought, like, what do other paranormalists think about this? Because, you know, you're in it to learn and share your education with the public. Just like all of us that are in it for our hearts. I mean, I'm like you. I believe that we're in it for the better good. Not to frighten people, not to scare them away, maybe help them be more educated. What are your thoughts on that, Phil?
But the thing about it is yes, you're completely right on what your assessment is, on what you just explained just now. Yes, there is a lot of things behind the books that people don't realize, they're not aware. And I have a fear that eventually down the road, paranormal stuff in Congress and all that stuff, they are not going to have the leverage that they have now, because people are more and more just ostracizing themselves from what we believe in the paranormal as we speak now.
Yeah, I think so too. I think there's a lot of.
And it's not a matter of if; it's a matter of when.
Yeah, and hopefully that won't be anytime soon. But with so many new groups popping up left and right, and it's funny because I look at the you know how like they have the groups, the gatherings, they have para-conventions and stuff, and I never get invited.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I used to get invited, but I don't get invited, and then it's like, did they forget I existed? Like all the people that
no, you know? They didn't exist that you forgot. They exist so they can silence you.
I mean, because I thought what we would teach in, because I taught teenagers for like a whole year, and it was very educational, and the parents joined, and we had a great time. But I always wonder, like, all these new groups, and what are they silencing? The past of knowledge of what we have been able to share with the public. You know, like, you know, I did a radio show for years on the paranormal. My producer Mark knows that too, because I worked through him. And I think that, you know, having people from all over the world talking about the same subject, but in their way and what they do, like you, I thought that was extremely important to the education of furthering the field, helping people that maybe want to get into it or are into it just to see it from a different perspective from somebody else. The same like I'm talking to you. Now, do you have any experiences with that? Because I know how long you've been in the field.
Yes, I do have experiences with that, and oh man, I hate having to basically put this out there, but there's things going along around this world where we don't understand, because some countries have media, just basically media outlets where they just like break apart, and they don't allow their media to go beyond a certain basically what's the word I'm looking for? But you know what I'm saying. And you need to realize that these media interests do not represent what we have in this country, in our good old US of A. They don't. Oh man, it feels bad for me to even say this on this broadcast.
But you're being honest.
But yeah, I am being honest. And let's call it for what it is. Russia is not allowing USA to share media assets. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think we were talking about this earlier too. Explain to the people what you're talking about so they have some kind of an insight about what it is you're actually talking about, because I think people would get a little confused. So explain to them like you did me earlier. So that way it's very much understandable.
Okay, so the United States is perpetuating UFO. That's their hideaway, so to speak. Russia, they are trying to get the word out that they're trying to maintain transparency, but at the same time, they are actually holding together information they know compared to the information we know. Does that make sense?
So it's basically contradicted.
Yes, it is. It is. And so when you hear TikTokers or media influencers out in the United States saying, oh, there's a UFO here, there's a UFO here, there's a UFO here, what they are doing is I hate using the word distraction, but that is what it is.
Because in the last, 2 years, we've heard of all kinds of different things. More
Yes.
so now. Because I think, you remember that one where they chased them and shot them down over, like, Canada or something?
Yes, and not only Canada did they shoot down a balloon, if you will, if that is what it was.
The Goodyear balloon.
We also had our balloon going across the United States gathering intel, and people just don't know.
I'm wondering, like, with all this radioactivity in the air, like, because it's invisible for the most part, with all the Wi-Fi and all the radio, like general radios, like what you have in your vehicle, with all that activity going on, I wonder if that has some curvature on paranormal activity, the spiritual, back to the spiritual again. I always wonder, like, because all these homes now all have internet, all have Wi-Fi. We all have radios. You know what I'm saying? Our TVs are connected to Wi-Fi. So we automatically don't even have to plug nothing in. Everything's, like, set up like Roku. So I wonder if that has any bearing on increasing of paranormal activity, period. What do you think?
No, because I believe that these frequencies that the paranormal operates under, they will not affect directly what's going on in the world. What's going on in the world is just a multifactional it's a multifactional war against everybody, and it's not as deep as you think, but it is an AI based military objective.
Sorry, the dogs decided to growl at each other. Well, I'm glad that you told me about that, because I've been kind of curious about that kind of thing, like, because there's so many invisible waves in the air. Just makes you wonder, like, what else could it affect?
Oh. That part of the structure is not going to affect everything around the world, but it will affect nation upon nation upon nation upon nation. So they will have the ability to basically shut off all communications around the world.
That's scary. That's a definite scary thing, that somebody has that kind of power to turn off the light switch to the reality of our world the way we are right now. I mean, they worried about that in, 1999 when it turned over 2000. Remember, they thought that the world was going to come to an end, and we were all the computers were going to go down.
Y2K. I remember.
I mean, I'm sure quite a few people are listening that would remember that. Some people might have been too young, but I just remember how scared everybody was. Like, oh no, because I remember I bought my first Gateway, and it was like a $3,000 computer, and that was a lot of money back then. And I was like, oh, if this computer doesn't work after this,
you want to know why they thought the computer wouldn't work after 2000?
I'm about the clocks, I thought.
Well, it had to deal with the clocks, but at the end of the millennium, the computers didn't have the means to go past the designated clock end time.
Oh, what? I did not know that. That's
yes.
Amazing.
So they worked tirelessly across all federal assets to be able to go and manipulate what is going to be done during 0 day. That's what they called it, 0 day.
They had us all scared too. I remember that. Like we thought everything in the world was going to get shut down. That's kind of funny though. Now that we're so far beyond that, it's kind of laughable when you think about it.
It is laughable. It really is. Because
all of us scared.
Our threats, yeah, our threats extend way beyond Y2K. It's way beyond what you can even comprehend.
Now, Phil, talking about some of your experiences, what is one of the most memorable experiences that you had within the paranormal of the case that you can talk about that's not like a private thing?
Definitely the Shriners Temple. For sure, the Shriners Temple.
Can you tell us about that?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I would love to.
Okay.
So, we started out our investigation by going around, taking the baseline readings and all that stuff. What you would expect paranormal investigators to just basically adhere to. And we did everything we possibly could. But something happened along the way where we found out that there's a spirit at that location, at a temple, a Shriner's temple, that basically wanted to make himself known. So what we did is the investigator that I was with and me, we are basically military integrated. We do things by the book military wise, right?
Yeah.
So we pulled that same strategy. And when we went and investigated the place that this entity told us to be at, I kid you not, we had poltergeist activity that I can't debunk, you can't debunk. I hate that word debunk, but you know what?
Too. I never liked it either, but I understand the meaning for it.
It is what it is, and it happened. So you see what I'm saying?
So what happened?
Well, we got the creme de la creme of paranormal evidence at that location specifically because, you know, Phil Summers is the man. My boy Ron, he's the man, and we know what we're doing.
So now, talk about your book, because I think that's very interesting. Now, how long did it take you to write the book?
So I'm still in the middle of writing my book.
Wonderful.
And there, so you know how a book is written. You have a draft, a rough draft, and all that stuff. And then what happens is somebody who's in charge of your writing team, they write what they know is to be accurate to how books are supposed to be written. But I've been kind of going back and forth to those people and me and making sure my book is as official as it comes. Like, it's the one thing that you could go to basically make sure your idea is not construed. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
And
I've never written a book, but I've been a part of a book, and I knew that it took quite a while for that. Like you said, it has to be going through its channels, but the proofreaders or the editing team or whoever does the cutting out of what doesn't apply. You know what I mean? Like, or how I don't know, if it's pages or it's just like, because the font's going to be different on each book, depending on if it's a big book, they might make small font. You know what I mean? To make the book smaller.
And that is exactly why I want my book to be the way I want it. And I've been making sure that every aspect of this book is in accordance to the way I want it.
Now, you going by your past experiences?
Yes.
Okay. So what people are going to read when they get that is they're going to read on the different experiences that you've been able to witness in your lifetime in the field.
Can I give you an example?
Yeah.
All right. So one night I was able to kind of go to a cemetery, and I already had it pre-planned out to where I basically had control of the situation. And I had a simulated ride to the cemetery, and it was by one of my uncles that was buried at that cemetery.
Yeah.
Right by it.
Yeah.
So I actually had that guy. He ran a hearse business, and I basically had him simulate me go to ride to this grave, and I was put inside the grave at night, and I basically spent the whole entire night in a cemetery.
What'd you end up doing?
I did a ghost box session. I did audio recordings. I basically did what I could to kind of validate what my experience was.
Yeah.
And I tell you, that caused a big stir in my local community.
Did it really?
Oh, yeah.
Is it that people don't understand or they don't like it, or what do you think?
It's just a matter of fact of people just don't understand death.
Now, what brought you to the understanding of wanting to research the paranormal? What actually was the trigger for you to actually to dive deep into this? Because you've been serious for a very long time. What was an experience or like an epiphany that you had that made you want to go into the field?
What made me want to go in the field is the fact that, you know, I was bullied in my younger years, and I just wanted a revenue to escape to. So I live in Charleston, South Carolina, and there are cemeteries all around this state. not just the ones that they show you downtown, but there's cemeteries all around the state. And one of these cemeteries is one of the ones that I gravitate towards, and I basically just found solace and peace. And I've been active there since.
Now, what type of tools have you used? Even when you in the early days, because you know how they people like to use recorders to do
I love this question.
You do? Okay. What type of technical devices do you favor, and which ones have you used in the past?
So, I do use tools, so to speak, and the tools that I use is a K2 meter. I'm old school. I'm old school as it comes. So I use a K2 meter. I use a 12587 ghost box hack.
Oh,
And the OG, yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
OG. And I also use the K2 meter, DOG.
Yeah, the old style.
And
The one with the meter?
hold on, I got a call coming. Hold on, I got a call coming, and you won't believe who it is. I just had a call coming in. You wouldn't believe who it just was.
I can't. I'm not. I'm not that
Anyways, yeah. So I basically use the basics, the analog equipment you could possibly imagine is analog.
Yeah. And no, what about like dowsing rods and things that are more like round?
Dowsing rods are my favorite.
Are they? I like dowsing rods myself.
Not for spiritual use, but for the use of detecting.
You got to keep on the mic there, Phil. Hard to hear you.
Yeah, I was letting them go.
I don't know how to do that.
No, just stay close to the phone. But yeah, no, you said no. You've used the dowsing rods. Have you had any experiences with that might shake you up? Because I
dowsing rods. Hell yeah,
had one.
Hell yeah. You know what it was though?
Yeah.
Dowsing rods are really good for finding gold. They're really good for finding emeralds.
Water.
Yes.
I didn't know that you could find gems with it.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I've been doing that. Another thing that I've been working at my whole entire 10 years doing this. Yes.
Yeah, that's true. You've been doing this a long time. Now, what do you use now? Now that, with all the new gadgets, and do you still just stick to the old school stuff, or do you kind of venture into the new world? Because now some of these, now I've seen the one with the video where it shows like a stick person, and the ghost is supposed to be the stick person. You know what I'm saying?
I'm using old school techniques, and I will always stick by the old school techniques because they have never failed me.
And you never know how like corrupt the new stuff is. Like
exactly. Boom. You hit the nail on the head.
They have apps, and these people run around the graveyard going, they're doing EVP sessions, but their answers are coming through the app, and the app is programmed with specific amount of words, and naturally words that would be like death and scary and run and leave and go and all the things that you don't want to hear. when you're at a location where there's a lot of dead bodies. But
exactly.
I think that they're just programmed to, because I mean, I've heard people say, "Oh, do you want me to leave? I'll leave." Now, if you're investigating something, you don't want to leave. So you want more, you want to gain as much knowledge as you can while you're there. You know, you probably made a plan to stay there for the day. And the thing 5 minutes in saying, "Leave, you're in danger." You know, now you gotta leave? No. That's not an answer to the question. My question would be like, I'm not leaving, so what do you got else for me? That's my question. What else you got? But I think those things are corrupt. I think that they're made generic for like entertainment.
I'm actually not comfortable exposing the stuff that I do know.
Yeah.
As regards to foreign policy and all that stuff, there's reasons.
Yeah. Now, how long do you think it's going to take you before you finally get to get your book out? Is it you looking like 6 months to a year?
Oh man, I would say a year, because I still have things that I need to add, and my writer, she needs to add what she needs to add, and maybe less than a year, but
about next year this time roughly. You'll be close to having it released.
Yeah, my book will be out next year. For sure. I'm already at the end.
Now, what about going on television shows that may need advice from a real live paranormalist? Have you ever been on any shows, or do you want to be on any TV shows or anything like that?
I have worked behind the scenes of many paranormal TV shows.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you which ones, but I have been instrumental in the ways that these shows have operated all this time.
Is that because your military background, you have that professionalism that kind of backs you up?
Yes, and I don't want to say no, but yes, for the most part.
Yeah, I can see that. And not just that, but you've been affiliated with some really great people. Now, do you have you ever studied like the demonologist aspect of things to help you with the knowledge of?
Yes, I have, and I am I have coincide with some of the biggest demonologists in the paranormal community that you possibly fathom. And I would say yes, that those people are integrated in my spectrum.
Yeah. I think that's awesome. Because I know some, I might even know some of the ones that you know, like.
No, I know who you're going to say. Yeah, you probably do.
You know some people. John Zaffis and let me see, James Arnito, and who else have I worked with?
Keith.
Let me think.
Keith and Sandra.
Keith, the Johnson brothers. Keith and oh my gosh, this is where I go.
Sandra.
Yeah, Sandra. I love them guys.
But let me just tell you that the names that you mentioned, they are very high priority.
Yeah. And I want to say Bishop Long, too, because he, for the longest time, had helped so many people in the field. But they're all genuine people. Like, I've met Keith and Sandra. I've met, my gosh, what's his twin brother? Can't think right now. Well, anyways, I've met them guys. I've met John quite a few times myself. But they're high profile for what they do because they're very professional and they don't slide on their knowledge. They don't let the world knock them down as far as, because if I became a demonologist, nobody would believe me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, and then just having them as to have the backup on.
Can I kind of
Yeah.
give you a caveat?
Yes, of course.
Why would they not believe you?
People are funny. I mean, you know, the first time I had an experience, I didn't dare tell anybody till I actually got to be a teenager. Then I had another one. Like, soon as I opened my mouth about the first one, I had another one, which was poltergeist activity, which he was more scary than a ghost. The ghost didn't scare me. He looked normal, like to me. The poltergeist activity was invisible. Like I said, told a lot of people this. A magazine flew over my head in the middle of the night, and I was sitting on the floor listening to the record player, and I was playing Rumors, Fleetwood Mac. I'm sure you've heard of them, and the magazine.
I have actually, yeah.
And so when that happened, it literally scared me to death. I turned all the lights on, and the people came home and was asking like, why are all the lights on? And I explained, and they laughed at me because they knew this stuff happened. And years later, I went to the neighborhood of that house, and there was a graveyard near the house, so I was dumbing around in there with my friend, and the owner came out, and he was the man I babysat for, and I explained to him, like, do you remember that night? And he's like, yeah, I do. And I go, was I, like, losing my mind? What was Nope, you met Grandma. And I was like, oh, Grandma could have been a lot nicer to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm just frightened the life out of me. Never seen anything like that. So when I tell people stuff, they don't know if I'm just saying it, making up stories, but well, I wouldn't want to make up a story like of paranormal activity. I think that would just be, unless I'm writing a book like Stephen King or something. But no, I don't see making up stories.
Maybe that's what you need to do.
Yeah.
Write a book like Stephen King.
Write a book. I don't know. Maybe one day.
You know that, right?
I know. Maybe one day I could write a book, but I've been on a lot of radio shows, so I've actually told my story quite a few times. But I tell it so that people can learn something from it, because I don't know why it happened, and I don't know what made me so special, and I don't. So I'm the only one in my family that has any types of gifts whatsoever. But I also have, like, sensory gifts where I can, like, if you were in another room and I wanted a drink of water, I could thought process you into bringing me a drink of water, and you think you heard my voice saying, hey, would you bring me a drink of water? I don't like doing that because I'm afraid of what the balance is. Like, okay, so I can do that now. What's going to screw up in my life?
Yo, Deborah, I can tell you right now, don't be afraid to do that.
No.
You know why? Espionage.
Oh, yeah, I should. That's really funny. So now, Phil, let me see what we got. We got 10 minutes. I was wondering, like, what do you want to do moving forward? What are some things, other than finishing the book, what are some things that you want for yourself? What would you like people to know more about you, or like your goal mines? What's your goal set?
My goals are to open up people that are in the paranormal community to be able to bring their mindset to the moon, and let's just see where all this stuff goes. I just want to see where all this stuff goes, because it's not a binaural us between them. It is something that I feel passionately about, to where I can confidently describe I hate saying this, but you know what? Screw it. I'm going to say it.
Okay.
I hope we all can get together and do our experiments and make it to where our experiments are goal oriented, meaning we all have one goal. That's my main goal.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Now, where can people get in touch with you? Do you have YouTube? Do you have? I know you have a bunch of social medias where you platform out. Where are some places people can get in touch with you?
Well, I only do have one form of social media platform, that's Facebook, and it's the whole government thing that I don't trust the government, what they promise. I don't trust it, but
Yeah.
my main focus is on Facebook. And
of course, people can get a hold of me if they needed to get a hold of you or Mark, our producer.
Of course.
I mean,
of course. Yeah.
We could directly connect you to Phil if you for any reason, anybody out there that's listening today or whenever you're listening, if you do need Phil in his professional help, we are here to help bridge that connection.
Okay, so another thing that I want to maintain the fact that I do kind of predict how the future holds, and I use that on data across all the boards, and I just want people to know that I am looking out for everybody.
Yeah.
And it's just a personal vendetta, if you will.
Right. I appreciate you coming on and sharing all your knowledge. I'd love it if you could come back on, and I'll definitely be interested in checking out the book when that comes out.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But I'm gonna send it back to you and have you sign it before I get to enjoy it. But I gotta say, that's our show for today. But Phil, you stick around. Everybody, thank you very much for listening to the show today. This has been Debbie Perkins and Phil Summers. And please check his work out. Get right into it. Check his book. It's gonna be coming out next year. And also some of his very interesting paranormal experiences. I want to thank you guys all for tuning in today, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day. Thank you.
Peace.